And welcome back. In my previous video, I talked about the California housing market and how we're seeing this dynamic shift or this dynamic slowdown in our housing market, especially over the past several months. In that video, I went over in great detail what we're seeing for the state as a whole, but in today's video, I'm going to share how each of the major regions and counties fared because, of course, there's some very big differences. So this is part 2 of my 2-part video series I do for the California housing market every single month. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is according to the California Association of Realtors. They just announced this today at the time of this video. And here's some key takeaways. Then I'm going to be sharing some slides with you guys to show you some trends we're seeing right now by region and also by county. And stick to the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing how each of the counties fared because, of course, there's some big differences here. And, of course, every housing market's different. So here's some key takeaways from the California Association of Realtors website here for August 2022. Out of the 51 counties that the California Association of Realtors tracks, only 4 counties posted an increase in home sales compared to 1 year ago. Of the 47 counties that experienced a year-over-year sales decline, though, 30 counties suffered a plunge of more than 20%. San Benito County recorded the biggest sales drop from last August at 68.2%. A decline. That was followed by Sonoma, a 40.3% decrease, and then Monterey, a decline by 35.8%. Also, for the first 8 months of 2022, closed home sales in San Luis Obispo continued to drop the sharpest at 28.9%, while Yuba County at 17.7% continued to post the best sales performance of all counties compared to last year. Also, more than 2/3 of all California counties experienced a year-over-year increase in their median sold price, but their growth rates have been decelerating in the past 3 months. And this is more or less what I touched on in my previous video because the growth rates right now for the median sold price statewide only increased by 1.4% compared to 1 year ago. And last year, we had growth rates over 20%. Meanwhile, Napa County had the biggest growth rate of home prices compared to 1 year ago, a gain of 29.2%. In regards to housing inventory, have a look at this. 47 of the 51 counties that are tracked by the California Association of Realtors recorded an increase of active listings on a year-over-year basis in August. In stark contrast, though, only 4 counties in California recorded a decrease of active listings compared to 1 year ago. So the vast majority of counties in California recorded an increase of housing supply from 1 year ago. And check this out because 3 counties had triple-digit gains on a year-over-year basis for the number of houses for sale. Yuba led the pack again with a gain of 162.4% from 1 year ago. So in Yuba County, they have 162% more houses listed for sale right now, or for the end of August 2022, compared to August of last year. And that was followed by Placer County, a gain of 105.6%, and then Mendocino County, 100% gain from 1 year ago. All right, so changing gears slightly, I want to share some slides with you guys, compliments from the California Association of Realtors. Here's the state at a high level. I went over this in my previous video, but I want to touch on this because I'm going to be sharing each of the major regions in California, and we'll see how it fares compared to the statewide averages here. So statewide existing home sales, which of course excludes brand new home sales, decreased by 24.4% from 1 year ago. The median sold price in August was $839,000, a gain of only 1.4% from 1 year ago. And by my math here, this is the smallest year-over-year change in August since August 2011. That was August 2010 to August 2011. Where we saw a 7.4% decrease on a year-over-year basis. So this gain of 1.4% is the smallest gain for an August going back to August 2011. Also, the unsold inventory index gained by 53% from 1 year ago, and the days on the market surged by 111%. 19 days is the average or the median days on the market right now. So that's the state as a whole. Here's the by region. In SoCal, home sales decreased by almost 29% from a year ago. The median sold price was $795,000. That's a gain of 4.6%. The unsold inventory index and days on the market is on par with the state averages, as you can see right here. And the sale price to list price ratio is 98.7%. meaning that home sellers accepted offers or closed escrows on houses for less than their asking prices. In other words, home buyers purchase houses on average for less than the seller's asking price. That's SoCal, but let's have a look at the Central Coast. In the Central Coast, home sales decreased by almost 31%. The median sold price there is $950,000, a gain of 5% compared to August 2021. The unsold inventory index, days on the market, and also the sales price to list price ratio was on par with the state's averages. In the Central Valley, home sales decreased by 22.1%. The median sold price there is $460,000. Only increasing by 2.2% from 1 year ago. Again, it would be entirely normal to have gains of 3 to 6% and not 2.2%. And all these other metrics right here is on par with the state averages as well. In the Bay Area though, have a look at this, because look at this. The median sold price was $1.25 million, but that is a decrease by 1.2% from 1 year ago. Also in the far north, home prices decreased on a year-over-year basis as well. So these are the only two major regions where home prices decreased from 1 year ago. I mean, what a big change compared to the beginning of this year and also last year. We saw big increases in home gains, but now home prices have started to decrease on a year-over-year basis here. We're also seeing a decrease of home sales by 29% as well. And the unsold inventory index, days on the market, and this ratio here is on par with the state's averages as well. In the far north, home sales only decreased by 10.5%, but they did see a decrease on a year-over-year basis for home prices there. And for the far north, this is entirely normal for the unsold inventory index as well as days in the market to be higher than the state's averages, also higher compared to these other regions as well. Okay, let's talk about home sales by region in California. So take a look at this. This is the percent of home sales by region. As you can see right here, 46% of all home sales in August of 2022 came from SoCal. 19% came from the Bay Area and 22% came from the Central Valley. All other counties had a very small sliver of the pie here. And here's something I found to be somewhat amusing here. It says August 2022 home sale growth by region. But as you can see right here, every single region recorded a decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago. So this should read August 2022 home sale decline by region. I believe they probably haven't changed that because this has been the similar trend we've been seeing for growth in 2020 and also 2021. In any case, you can see this giant decrease of home sales compared to 1 year ago by region. And again, the far north had the smallest decrease on a year-over-year basis. And here's something worth mentioning again, because I mentioned this in my previous video, but pending home sales decreased by 35.4% from 1 year ago. And I thought this is funny because they say pending home sales see a slight improvement from last month, which is kind of funny because you know it's bad when we're celebrating the fact that a 35.4% decrease in pending home sales is better than last month. Okay, let's talk about home prices by region. I thought this is really interesting here. This is the percent of houses selling above their asking price. And only 3 of these 50 counties were at or above 50%. Those counties were San Francisco, Fresno, and Madera. So in San Francisco, for example, 72% of the houses that sold in August sold above their asking price. So only 3 counties were above 50%, meaning for the remaining 47 counties, they were below 50%. In other words, houses on average sold for less than the seller's asking price. And again, as I always mention in these monthly California real estate market updates here, it's entirely normal to see San Francisco, the share to be well above 50%. Because for whatever reason, houses get listed for far less than they know they're going to be selling for. So it's entirely normal for this number to be well above 70%. If I'm not mistaken, several months ago, this number was very close to 90%. All right, changing gears slightly, let's talk about active listings or housing inventory. Take a look at this. Here's active listings. Active listings is, of course, the total number of houses available for sale. They're not sold yet. Active listings increased by 57% compared to 1 year ago. Huge gains over the past several months. I mentioned this in my previous video, but it's worth mentioning again. So huge gains of active listings compared to 1 year ago. And this is by region. I didn't share this in my previous video, but we're seeing in SoCal and also the Central Valley, huge gains of active listings compared to August of 2021. In SoCal, they went up from 11,500 to about 18,000 this year. And in Central Valley, they increased by 5,204. Now we have 8,517 active listings in Central Valley as of the end of August of this year. And this is probably one of the most eye-opening slides they share, because we're seeing this huge amount of active listings. In other words, we're seeing a lot more houses listed for sale right now compared to last year. But despite the fact we have a lot more houses for sale, we're seeing this huge pullback in home sales. So this is basically the opposite of what we saw compared to the beginning of this year and also last year, where we saw active listings decrease and home sales increase. And that's what depleted housing supply. But we're seeing just the opposite right now, though. So for example, in the San Francisco Bay Area, we have 40.3% more houses for sale compared to 1 year ago, but we have a 29.1% decrease in home sales. In SoCal, look at this, 56% increase in active listings, but again, a giant decrease of home sales. And the biggest increase was actually in the Central Valley for active listings, an increase of 64%. But despite that, we have a decrease by 22.1% in the number of home sales. On top of that, housing supply has increased from 1 year ago in every single county that CAR tracks except for 3 counties. Those counties were Del Norte, Plumas, as well as Sonoma, but every other county they track recorded an increase on a year-over-year basis for active listings. So much so that Yuba County increased by 162.4%. And for those interested in Sacramento, where of course I live and work as a real estate agent, in Sacramento we have gains of around 50% from a year ago. And here's the last slide I want to share with you guys. Then I'm going to be sharing how each of the counties fared regarding home prices as well as home sales. So again, the share of price reductions is at 42.7%, which is more or less double the share that we saw at the beginning of this year. All right, so changing gears again, let's talk about home prices as well as home sales by each of the major regions as well as the counties. So here's a California single-family houses. Again, the median sold price, $839,000, only a gain of 1.4% statewide. For condos and townhomes, a slight increase of 4.2%. So the median sold price for condos and townhomes statewide increased quite a bit more compared to single-family houses. In the Central Coast for home sales, they saw a giant increase of home sales on a month-to-month basis by 15.9%. But as you can see on a year-over-year basis, of course, this is August 2021 compared to August 2022, they saw double-digit decreases from 1 year ago. And again, the far north, as well as the San Francisco Bay Area, were the only 2 major regions where they saw decreases in home prices compared to 1 year ago. So let's have a look at some of the major counties within the Bay Area regarding home prices and home sales. And this is something I found to be very interesting because a lot of these counties recorded a decrease in home prices from 1 year ago. That was Alameda County, Contra Costa, San Francisco, 11.6% decrease in home prices there, and Santa Clara, a decrease by 0.3%. It's worth mentioning here, this is one of the biggest decreases in home prices from 1 year ago in San Francisco, because 1 year ago, the median sold price was $1.85 million. Now it's $1.635 million. In stark contrast, though, look at Napa. Napa County, the median sold price increased by 29.2%. For closed home sales compared to July 2022, we saw huge gains in Marin, Napa, as well as Santa Clara, gains over 20%. In stark contrast, though, on a year-over-year basis, we saw huge decreases. In SoCal, Orange County was the most expensive county here. Median sold price at $1.2 million. That's a gain of 9.1%. And again, giant decreases in home sales on a year-over-year basis here. And then jumping to the Central Coast in Monterey, home prices were relatively flat from a year ago, only gaining by 1.8%. In stark contrast, though, look at this. San Luis Obispo increased by 12.8% from August 2021. And in Santa Barbara, they had no change in home prices there, but they saw a giant increase of home sales by 39.2%. In the Central Valley, where of course I work and live as a real estate agent here, in Sacramento, the median sold price was $535,000. 1 year ago was $515,000. That's a gain of 3.9%. But again, giant decreases in home sales from August 2021. In Placer County, the median sold price is $650,000, only increasing by 1% from August 2021. Other counties worth mentioning here where they saw a decrease on a year-over-year basis for the median sold price was in Lassen County, Plumas, Shasta, as well as Tehama. We also saw year-over-year declines in home prices in Calaveras County, El Dorado, Lake County, Mariposa, Mendocino, as well as Mono. So comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.